Speaking of Markel, question from Jason McClara, who writes, what are your thoughts on the recent announcement of a regulatory inquiry into Markel, which may have driven some of those algos?
Yes.
Jason writes, the stock has traded down a little less than 10% since the announcement. Just wondering where things go from here. Thanks. Thank you for the question, Jason. Yeah, it was a week ago, Markel announced that it is hiring an outside counsel for an internal review after it was notified by unnamed regulators. And I think right off the bat, it's the unnamed part of that sentence that makes some investors go, well, wait a minute. Is this a paperwork thing? Is this just a rounding error? Or is the SEC kicking in your door?
Yeah, and I mean, that's fair to be a little bit knee-jerk whenever you see investigation. I mean, that doesn't exactly instill a lot of confidence. But, it's one where you have to dig in a little bit and try to understand exactly what's going on here. And so we look at the 8K that Markel actually released, and they were saying that after having been contacted on November 30th, they're cooperating with inquiries by U.S. and Bermuda authorities into loss reserves that were recorded in late 2017 and early 2018 in the Markel Catco investment management business, okay? And it's
that's in the weeds.
It rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? But my point in reading that in the Catco part there is that it is limited just to that catastrophe part of the business, the reinsurance Catco business that they have, and they acquired not all that long ago. It does not have anything to do with any other part of Markel whatsoever. Not the Markel Ventures, not the Markel Insurance. This is limited to just one little wing of the business that they acquired for about $210 million a little while back.
So in terms of Markel's overall revenue streams, roughly what percentage is Catco contributing to?
I'm very glad that you asked that because it's not a lot. Okay, to be very clear as to what this Catco business is, they're involved in what's called retrocession. And again, rolls right off the tongue. And of course, I mean, insurance is exciting.
Is anything duller than insurance?
But retrocession is essentially like reinsurers. It's reinsurance for the reinsurers. It's a way that reinsurers spread that risk to other reinsurers. It's just part and parcel of the insurance business. And so when we talk about the actual exposure to Markel's overall business, well, it's not a whole heck of a lot because if you look at the total revenues that were attributed to this Markel Catco side of the business in 2017, for the full year, it was only $28.7 million. And Markel's trailing 12-month revenue is about $7.5 billion. Okay, so it is just a drop in the bucket. And so I think that it was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction. The stock wasn't necessarily cheap before the sell-off. It's not. I wouldn't argue that it's cheap now either. It's still trading at about 1.5 times book value. But my litmus test there is ultimately like, what if you just completely eliminated this cat business from Markel's business model? What ultimately happens? Well, yeah, they lose a little bit on the assets under management side. But it doesn't really impair the business at all. And another encouraging thing, I think, is that the original management team with this Catco business is still on. So these were the guys that knew the business from the very start. And it's very difficult to come up with the reserves for these reinsurance businesses. It's not just this set in stone process. It's a bit nebulous. You have to make some assumptions. And we've had some pretty severe natural disasters here over the past couple of years. These California wildfires are going to be contributing to that as well. So it's understandable in the near term to be a little bit worried perhaps of what this might mean. But once you dig in, then you recognize very quickly that I don't want to say it's meaningless, but it's pretty close to meaningless when you're talking about a company that I intend to own for the next 20 years plus, hopefully. These guys know what they're doing. So I think this is one where you can see it's a little bit of noise in the short term, but that's why I bought shares on that dip, because I'm still confident what they're doing. To this point, has Markel given any guidance or made any public statements regarding the timing of this investigation and how long it's expected to last? No. I mean, there's nothing really that we know other than they're going to continue to cooperate operate and do whatever they need to do. It's probably going to result in having to bring those reserves back up to speed. Perhaps that plays out on the book value of the stock in the near term. But again, I mean, they make their money a number of different ways. And I mean, the Markel Ventures side of the business alone, which is that little wholly owned and partially owned, these businesses that they invest in all over the country, I mean, that brought in $1.4 billion in revenue last year. So, I mean, again, the point is that this CatGo business, it's a neat little aspect of the business, but it is not extremely meaningful. And once you can see that, then I think it makes a little bit more sense, to own the stock and feel, at least decent about buying on a dip like that.